What's up in War Eagle War Report family? You got Ike Jones. We're back with another morning drop. Today is Facts or Not Friday, and we are here to answer all of the questions y'all have this morning. Get on in here. Y'all know how we do right here, War Report style. Let's drop it on them.
You are now listening to the War Report. Drop.
Morning drop. It is Friday, November. Oh, actually, it's December now.
December
1st.
Yeah.
Friday, December 1st. Ike Jones, B. Will in here. Morning drop time. Before we get into the conversation, share the video. Make sure that you are getting some more people involved in what we got going on this Friday. I know football season, regular season is done. People shifting focus over to the off season. So I know there are a lot of questions swirling around. Let's get into those. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. If you're out there listening, actually, this doesn't go on podcast. I'm not getting into all that. All right. Facts are Not Friday, man. B. Will, how you feeling on a Friday morning, man?
This is officially my second favorite season behind football season. It's not basketball season. It's speculation season. Who's going to do what, when, how, maybe? We will see. This is my favorite time of the year.
Definitely a lot of speculation.
It's basketball season, just for the record.
Yeah, it's the recruiting, the no contact period is done with. They're back in full-time recruiting mode right now. Conversations have happened internally with the team from last year. The coaches have a decent idea of who is going to be hitting the portal from Auburn. We've already had some people announced from Auburn to hit the portal. A lot of people from different schools already in the portal. Speculation swirling around about who Auburn's gonna get and blah blah blah, this and that. Who's getting fired? A lot of coaches being hired.
Speculation. Lots to talk about. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah, man. Before we get into that, though, I had the illustrious pleasure of watching Auburn beat the absolute brakes off of Clemson in women's basketball last night. So shout out to the women's basketball team, giving a 30-piece to the counterfeit Tigers over there in the ACC. ACC on both the men and women's side, absolutely dead even in the first ACC SEC challenge in basketball.
Which is crazy, right?
Yeah, 7 wins, 7 losses, straight down the line. But as always, for Facts or Not, we get this thing started with our Twitter questions. Thank you to the folks on Twitter who submit questions to us every week. We will start with Ike's favorite 5, because as we have well established, it's the ones I pick that we talk about. Yeah. So if you don't see your question answered up here, just know it's my fault. Blame me. And I ain't going to be worried at all. Let's get into it.
Let's do it.
First one here comes from Riley, who's tweeting at more D Riley, who says, Facts or Not, we know who our transfer QB will be before the portal window closes. I'm going to rephrase this. We would know if we get a transfer QB before the portal window closes. Be Will.
I'm going to say yes, we know if we're going to get one. I'm also going to say, yes, I'm going to say facts. I'm also going to say facts to this right here. We are going to know who it is, I think, fairly quickly. We need a difference maker. I think we need an improvement in quarterback. And the ones who are going to be an improvement, they're going to get snatched up very quickly. I think we're going to know within a week, maybe like 10 days, exactly what our quarterback room is going to look like here. It's not going to take long.
Yeah, I mean, listen, we'll know quickly. I am less and less confident as the days go by, as information comes out about different things, that we have a change at quarterback next season. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to happen. We might be. Yeah, I don't know.
It's the absolute worst news you could have given me, but
listen, I don't know. Listen, it's a fluid situation, but if you were asking me today, Is Auburn going to land a portal quarterback at all? I'd be saying nah today. That's not the question that was asked. But yeah, I'd say nah today. Thomas Jones comes in tweeting at BigCool9999 says, facts or nah, it will be a different offensive coordinator on the Plains. B. Will, what you feeling about this one?
The further away we get from the end of the season without announcing any staff changes makes me lean nah on this. Right now, we have completed our regular season. We aren't playing in any official. We're not in a conference championship game. We're not going to be in a playoff. So if you were going to make changes right now, especially while people were starting to fill their vacant spots and build their staffs, you figure you would do it now before some of these guys who are going to go to these new staffs were getting snatched up. Unless Coach Hugh Freeze knows exactly what change he wants to make, and he knows exactly who he wants to get. There's already movement there. He just hasn't announced it yet. The dead period is over. Recruits can be re-recruited again. And if it's Coach Philip Montgomery doing some recruiting, again, everybody's speculating, oh, man, Philip Montgomery's going to go because he didn't work well. He wasn't the play caller that Hugh Freeze wanted him to be. Well, you're going to send him back out there to do some more recruiting if he's not going to be your OC next year? That's why I have trouble thinking that he's going to get rid of him again. I think I said this multiple times during the regular season. People hung so much of the offensive ineptitude on the OC. Hugh Freeze okayed everything that, as far as game plan, strategy, who the quarterback was at what time. Hugh Freeze said okay to all that stuff. So what I think we saw during the regular season was actually dysfunction between what they wanted to do schematically and the players that they had. That's where the hang up was. It wasn't with the OC. That's my belief. It's not that Philip Montgomery just couldn't still go, because I still believe, and I actually started a question from Corey here later, he's the better play caller to do what he wants to do. That may be the reason that OC Philip Montgomery ends up leaving. I don't think it's because he was awful and he couldn't do anything that Hugh Freeze wanted to do. So, long way around, I'm going to say right now, no, I don't think it's necessarily going to be a different OC. I think he did what he was instructed to do, and it just didn't work because we didn't have the pieces that they wanted to make it work. Not because Philip Montgomery is incompetent. I'm going to say no.
Yeah, I mean, as it stands today, I think the answer to this is nah. I don't have any evidence to point to, any changes being made at offensive coordinator. And, to the point, do we have changes at a play caller? That wasn't what's asked. It will be asked later. We'll answer that question when we get there. Let's see here. Facts or nah, Lou, as in Connor Lou, gets freshman all SEC this year.
That's going to be a nah, just because the number of games he played isn't going to match what some of the better freshmen who were higher up on that list for that award will have gotten. They would have played 10, 11, 12 games starting.
Well, hold on. All SEC is a team. He's not saying he's going to be the freshman of the year. He's saying
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, well, yeah. Well, still, anyway, if you're all SEC, then you played a lot. So that's really going to be the hang up for Connor Lewis. He didn't come in until game, like 7, 8, something like that.
I don't remember what game it was he started.
I don't think half a season is enough to get you placed on that team, and that's really the reason why. So I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say facts on this. But without looking at any of the other rosters, I don't know how many freshmen started at center in the SEC. So I think that he's going to be able to get that. I'll go facts for Connor Lou. All freshmen for him this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Jarquez fan page tweeting at Barner_lover says, facts or not, Auburn finishes with a top 10 class in the 24 recruiting cycle.
You know what? I was thinking absolutely to this. This was a question I thought was a slam lock. But now I'm looking at the number of signees we would have for this class. That's really what's holding us back. We've been in it for a lot of big 5 stars and high 4 stars, and I think we've got the stars we need for it, but what we don't have is the volume for it. We would need to add like 5, 6 more guys in this class. We need a big 5-star flip, and then fill it out with, as it's rated, low 4s and high 3s to get to top 10, which is completely possible. But they seem to be kind of, maybe they're waiting on the big chips to fall first and then get who's left. I guess that's how they're doing it. But we got some work to do if we're going to get to top 10, but it's completely doable. It's completely doable. I'm going to say facts predicting right now.
I'm actually going to say, nah, Auburn's going to finish just outside of the top 10. Again, this could definitely change by National Signing Day. But as it sits right now with what I see us bringing in for early signing day, I think it's going to be somewhere between 11 and 15 where Auburn will finish. But if they can flip some late like they did last time, then, they could get there. But right now I'm going to say, nah, it's going to be top 15, not top 10.
Okay.
Wardam Eagle for Life tweeting at Bowman1193 says Factional Auburn will have 2 freshmen start at wide receiver next year.
I'm gonna say facts because everybody else gonna be gone, buddy. They ain't got no choice. They ain't got no choice but to start these freshmen, man. Hey, Hugh Freeze been pitching time. They gonna get some time. They gonna start early and often, and maybe it's for the best because you're gonna need them to get on board quickly. I think bringing them along slow just holds back how good you can be by the end of their freshman season. But yeah, facts. I think we start at least 2 wide receivers that are freshmen next year.
This is a tricky question for me. Will 2 freshmen start at some point during the year? Yes, I will go facts. Will 2 freshmen be starting game 1 for Auburn at wide receiver next year? I am going to say nah to that. I think that game 1 we'll see some. It depends on who stays. Oh man. I'm gonna answer in the most positive light I can and say we have enough returners come back and a portal guy, and no, we won't have 2 true freshmen starting at wide receiver for Auburn next season. I think we get 1, but I don't know about 2. Not game 1. By the end of the year, I think the answer to this will be facts.
Okay.
All right. I think I did all 5 of them. Got that one.
Yeah.
Got that one.
Yeah.
All right. That's all 5 right there.
We did it.
All right. Well, we will get over into the questions submitted from those of you who are in here live with us today. We appreciate it. Today's morning drop is brought to you by HelloFresh. Make sure you guys hit up HelloFresh.com using code Rapport free. What's free? Breakfast. You can get a free breakfast with your kit as long as your subscription is active. If you go to HelloFresh.com/Rapport free and use code Rapport free breakfast for the life of that subscription. 1 breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. That is free breakfast for life with America's #1 meal kit. Just like always, HelloFresh's ingredients travel from the farm to your door, so you know they're fresh and everything arrives pre-portioned so you can get right to cooking quickly. In case you missed it, HelloFresh is so much more than delicious dinners. HelloFresh can help take the hassle out of every mealtime occasion with easy breakfast, quick lunch, and snacks, all delivered alongside your weekly box. Again, head over to HelloFresh.com/Rapport free and use code Rapport free when you do. And that'll get you hooked up with that free breakfast for the life of your subscription. All right. Let's get over into our comment section today. We appreciate you all dropping in with us. If you haven't shared the video, like the video, go ahead and do all of that. We'll get today's comment started off with Super Chat Land. Our guy Jazzy Joe saying, is Grayson McCall here yet? Be Will, you are the resident Grayson McCall tracker. Is he here yet?
I mean, so nah, he's not here yet. Corey, me and Corey were big on McCall last offseason.
No. If we're saying who's the bigger Grayson McCall tracker,
Corey.
It is definitely Corey over you.
Corey Dub. What up, man? I know he just graduated. He actually ended the season injured. He was hurt in the second to last game or the third from the last game. But either way, he didn't have a great season. From what I understand, his entire coaching staff left in the offseason. So a lot changed there. So people look at his numbers and be like, oh, he's not that good. It's like, no, well, he It wasn't even the same thing. It's like looking at Will Rogers' numbers from this year and saying, oh, well, he's not that good. It's like, no, he's just not doing what his strengths are, which we've seen that over and over in college football and football in general. It's somebody putting you in position to succeed based on what your strengths are. Prior to this past season, they were, and this season they weren't, and it didn't work out that well. So he probably wanted to leave, and I don't blame him. I mean, we know he tried to leave last season. He's not here. What's the pecking order for the staff as far as quarterbacks that will be available? So he's already in the portal. Riley Leonard's in the portal. Apparently, we're going to get a visit from Riley Leonard. I don't know if Grayson McCall has sent any visits yet. If I got a choice, I'm going with McCall. Somebody posted a chart. His efficiency in, I want to say it was 2021, is the second highest quarterback efficiency rating ever in college football, second only to who? Jaden Daniels this year, the best quarterback in the country. Yeah, I want that guy. That potential doesn't just go away. The potential, when you're that efficient, it doesn't matter if you're at Coastal, if you're at Division II. What that means is you are at the very least a sound
Jazzy says he don't care if he ended the season dead. Get him here.
I don't like the way that's worded, Jazzy. So I'm gonna say yes. I don't care what happened, and get him here. If you are that efficient, that means your decision making and your accuracy are very, very good. Your decision making and your accuracy are very, very good. I get it. You're not running away from these giant SEC defensive ends, man. It don't matter. If you know where to go with the ball, we saw windows of opportunity. If y'all watched any of the film, what you saw this year in our offense was tons of opportunity, times where players were open and available and the quarterback could not see them or could not get them the ball. What you get by the most efficient quarterback is, I know where you're going to be. I'm going to get it to you. And you get that consistently. I believe he would be a great fit for this offense. I think that's why Hugh Freeze went after him last year. But we'll see how this goes, man. There's a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know. They got some decisions to make in the athletic department of the football program about what they want to do at quarterback. Man, I hope we get a shot at McCall,
though. Yeah, we'll see. Corey Weber says, facts or not, Coach Freeze handles offensive play calling the entirety of the 2024 season. This is the one we said we would come back to.
Yeah. All right, so I got a question for you, Ike.
Okay.
Was this season was the offense so disjointed because Hugh Freeze was trying to keep his hands off the offense to do recruiting, and both Philip Montgomery and the players were completely unfamiliar with what Hugh Freeze wanted to do? Was it because it was year one, or was it simply because only he can call and teach his offense the way it needs to be run?
Oh, it's not one or the other. I think it's a combination of that. I think that Coach Freeze is, so let me say this. Philip Montgomery's offense is more option route based stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is more on the fly decision making that I don't think the current players had mastered well enough yet for it to look good. You saw a lot of indecision from the quarterback who just wasn't comfortable with what he was seeing. So he was like, and he wasn't confident that the receivers were going to be where he thought that they were going to be. So you saw a lot of indecisiveness there. Coach Freeze's system is more so about reading pre-snap leverages and understanding where the ball's supposed to go in the RPO game as opposed to post-snap. And they tried to put those two things together. We're going to do the pre-snap reads of all that stuff, and then we're going to have the post-snap route adjustment, site adjustment stuff. You just saw a lot of indecision. So they took a lot of that stuff away, and they started to go more with just the pre-snap stuff, or we're just going to call, hey, this is what you're going to do, right? I think that we're going to see it be, they're still going to try to do a little bit of the combination of that stuff during the season coming up here. But I do think that Coach Freeze is going to be more involved with play calling for the entirety of the season this year.
Okay.
So I'll say facts.
Okay.
Jonathan Boyson jumps in. Facts or not, Peyton Thorne transfers if we get a portal quarterback. Ooh.
I'm gonna say nah.
And we can just combine this with his other one here and says facts or not. If we don't get a portal QB, Holden stays.
Yeah, so I think the inverse is the proper order of this relationship. If Holden stays, we don't get a portal QB.
Mm.
And facts, if we get a if we get a transfer QB, which means Holden didn't stay, then Peyton Thorne would also stay. I think he would just be QB2. Which is not a bad deal. I mean, you get somebody who has gone through the paces, he's gone through the rough stretch. His ceiling is not that high, but hopefully learning something over the course of a full year starting raises his floor a little bit with this offense and with these coaches. I think Peyton Thorne is at QB2 is likely what we see if Holden decides to leave. Yes. So facts on this one's right here on the screen. If we end up getting a portal QB, it's because Holden decided to leave. I think that is the first domino is will Holden stay, yes or no? And we all talked about it. He came on the field. We were a terrible offensive team the first 6-7 games of the season. They brought him on for one play in a meaningful game, and it was to do a quarterback pass when he was out wide out. It went awful. I would have put in I would have filled out my transfer paper then. You know how you write a resignation letter. I'm just waiting to tell them, like, I have enjoyed my years here.
Yeah, it would have been in the draft. So I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, it would have been in there then. So what will he decide to do? What's his opportunity here or elsewhere? I'm sure he has to talk that over with the coaches and his family and figure that out.
Yeah, I agree with this. If Holden stays, it's because we did not get a transfer quarterback. But the other question that he asked here was Peyton Thorne transfers if we get a portal QB. I think this is also facts. I don't think Peyton Thorne wants to spend his last year of eligibility on the bench. If Auburn, if Holden leaves, I believe Auburn goes and gets a portal quarterback, and then Peyton Thorne also leaves. I don't think he wants to be in a quarterback competition at all. I think he wants to go somewhere where he's guaranteed to be the starter. If they bring in a portal quarterback, then that is likely the person who Auburn wants to start. They're not going to go get a portal quarterback for competition. They're going to go get a portal quarterback for this guy is going to be who we have as a presumptive starter. And they're going to want Peyton to stay and compete with him. But I don't think he's going to want that. I think he leaves.
Okay.
I feel today that if Holden Gurner leaves, we will have 3 quarterbacks transfer out of this quarterback room. If he stays, you will only have 1, and that will likely be Robbie Ashford. I don't think the way I feel today about this quarterback competition, I don't think Auburn goes and gets a portal quarterback at all if Peyton Thorne and Holden Gurner stay. If Holden leaves, and I think that Robbie's gone regardless.
Yeah.
If Holden leaves, Auburn goes to the portal, and I think Peyton Thorne leaves as well. That's the way I feel today. Fluid situation. I ain't predicting nothing. I'm telling you, this is how I feel today.
Very fluid.
Yeah. Wardam PJM says, facts or not, over under more than 10 current Auburn players enter the portal next week.
Over. Facts or not is one question. Over under is a different question. But facts, over 10 players hit the portal next week, buddy. It's gonna be yeah. We already know of what, 3, 4. Eniche Sledge, was Steven Johnson, was he one of them? We already heard from
Amari Kelly packed his bags. He was ready to hit the door already. Yeah. 10. Let me think about that. Do 10 players get up out of here next week?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's about to empty out, buddy. That's 3 already. So 7 more. We know at least one quarterback is going.
I don't. So here's the thing, right? Robbie can't hit the portal until he graduates, so he's not going to hit next week.
Right.
I don't think he declares that early and then just sits out the fall or the spring, excuse me.
Right.
That's 5 in my head. That's 6 in my head. That's 7 in my head. I'm going through like position groups in my mind right now. I'm gonna say nah. It's gonna be under 10.
You forget.
Next week, I think I'm gonna say nah. It's gonna be under 10 next week. Now, will we have 10 transfer out altogether during the offseason? Yeah.
I think we get 10 gone in the first portal period.
I don't know. I can't think of 10 players in my head that are gonna leave in the transfer portal. I'm gonna say nah. It's gonna be under 10 next week, but we'll see. I don't know, man. It's my heart's hurting, man. My heart's hurting.
Yeah.
Guys, a lot of super chats I did not see here. Raymond Bentley says, does Auburn begin the 2024 season ranked on how they finished last year's season? Absolutely not.
No.
There's no.
We lost to New Mexico State. We lost to Bama. Close loss is still a loss. Yeah,
no chance we're in the top 25 to start the next season. No. Yeah. Josh Corbett says, I think Thorne gets pushed by the QB coming in and elevates his game. He doesn't throw for 6K yards, touchdowns at. Oh, so collectively, I was like, he never threw for 6,000 yards at Mississippi State. Forget how to play. 23 was on the wide receivers. Josh, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't believe this. I just don't.
No. The thing about elevating game is we're hearkening back to his very first season as his best season. His game has declined. And I'll give you a little sneak peek of something we're going to talk about later. By the numbers, as far as the grades, this season 23 was every bit as good as his season at Michigan State in 2021. The production was not there, but what you saw was his same propensity to make mistakes, the same propensity to not see guys, which is something that's graded in PFF that's not going to show up in the completion percentage. The completion percentage will have people believing, oh, well, when he threw, the percentage was good. But how often did he not throw when he should have thrown? How often did he make the wrong decision in the read option game or the wrong decision on a pass play? Those things are accounted for more. How accurate was he throwing? What we saw this year, his play was every bit as good as it was then. I agree with you. The wide receivers are why the yardage wasn't good, why the offense was worse than it should have been. But you're not going to see a guy automatically jump to 67% and all of a sudden start making these big throws. He doesn't have the arm for that. Or completely get rid of the misreads and the bad throw like at Vandy or at Arkansas. That's a part of his game. That's who he is. What we saw was what we're going to see going forward. The surrounding cast does make the overall product better. He's not going to be a better quarterback in 2024.
Yeah, I listen. I didn't say he forgot how to play quarterback. He's a guy who's going to need volume. I don't know that his volume goes up significantly next season to be able to throw for 3,000 yards. And then the 23 was on the wide receivers. It's just not. That's not factual. That's just not. That nothing about what was on film says 23 was on the wide receivers. Did the wide receivers have a part to play in that? 100%. That wide receiver room needs to play better. But yeah, the 23 being on the wide receivers, I think, is one of the biggest misconceptions about why the offense was what it was. Another Wardam PJM says facts not Auburn will at least contact Damian Craig, at least from a recruiting perspective.
I don't think so. Damian Craig he has been aspiring to be an offensive coordinator, and he worked his way up the ladder for a while now, and he hasn't gotten that opportunity yet. He went to LSU. When he first left Auburn, he went to LSU to be on that staff, wide receivers and recruiting, right? And so far, he's only been to be coaching wide receivers and recruiting. That's where he's leveled out at. I think he wants to get somewhere where he can climb, and that's not here. Hugh Freeze has everything set up. You never get past wide receiver and recruiting here, and I don't know if Hugh Freeze is unhappy with Marcus Davis. Again, we put so much of the performance of a position group on their position coach when we have to account for these aren't the right guys for this. The overall system and what was being asked, people really weren't being put in their best position to succeed. And that's what we're seeing more so than, the position coach isn't good enough. I don't know that Marcus Davis was a bad position coach just because the wide receivers had issues playing. Hugh Freeze might have just like, hey, man, I don't know if these guys can do it or not, but just try to make them do it. And then I think turning over the room almost entirely with what he's bringing in tells you a lot about what he thinks regarding, is it the coach or is it the players? He's been hammering on the wide receivers from the day we opened fall camp. He's been talking about the performance of the wide receivers, whether an individual play or a bigger play, almost every game. I think Hugh Freeze wanted better wide receiver talent in that room, and that's what we're seeing with the criticism there. I don't think it's a knock on Marcus Davis, so I don't think they would try to come in and replace him with Damian Craig. Yes, he's a premium recruiter. He's an awesome recruiter. I think he'd be a great get, but where do you put him? Who do you get rid of? Do you have enough money to pay him? He's not going to be a small amount of money, man. He's an experienced guy and a great recruiter. I don't know if it makes sense here.
Yeah, I don't know that there's a spot that makes sense for what Damian Craig wants to do. I don't know if he just can't find a job somewhere. Would he come and be on the staff at Auburn? Yeah, but I don't know that he'll have a problem finding a job somewhere that suits more what he wants to do for his path. So I'm going to say, nah, we don't contact him just because I don't think that we have a job available for him that makes sense. I mean, let me add. Will they contact him? Maybe, but is he going to answer that call when they don't have a spot available for him? Nah. So, all right. Let's try to go super speed through some of these. Dustin Pace says, facts or not, Walker White starts some games for us next year. I'm going to go nah on this.
Big nah on that.
Barring injury, I don't see that happening.
Right.
Let's see. Legit says, facts or not, Auburn and Hugh Freeze will win the SEC and make the playoffs before Texas A&M, and Oklahoma.
I'm gonna say nah, because with Texas already really in prime position. I ain't gonna hold
you. Texas might make the playoff this year.
Yeah, and yours is reportedly coming back. I don't think they're gonna fall back.
So if you're talking about once they come to the SEC next year, in the 12-team playoff, is it more likely that Auburn sees it before these three teams? I'm going to say nah.
Yeah, I say nah.
Because they might see it in year one. And I am not sure we do see it in year one as of right now. Curtis Jackson says, facts or not, does Scott decline the Senior Bowl? I don't even know I read this. You finna make me sad. Does Scott decline the Senior Bowl invite and spend one last season with Auburn?
Oh, man. He did get an invite?
He did get an invite.
Oh, man. I wonder if he's shown enough this season to get on everybody's radar. That's really the point. He's the type of guy who could make a roster as an undrafted free agent and work his way up, and he'd be a starter by the end of his second year in the league. I absolutely believe that. The question is, how much value is he leaving on the table by missing half the season against the better portion of our schedule, by the way, hurt, and not playing against the Georgia and the LSU and the Texas A&M? Like, how much value would he have built up if he had played the entire year and had that impact the entire year? He could say, okay, I'll come back next year, play a whole year, but you don't know what's going to happen next year. You come back next year and then I heard something worse, and then, you never see that money. So he's got a very important decision to make. I would love to see Keionte Scott back. I would love to have Keionte Scott back, but man, I don't know. I'm gonna say facts. No, I'm sorry. Let me read this right. Nah, he does not decline the Senior Bowl invite. I'm gonna guess that he takes advantage of the opportunity, goes there, balls out, because the Senior Bowl practices and game is an evaluation all to itself. It's good for a couple of good games in the regular season. He takes it. He sees what's out there for him. He talks to some teams while he's there, and he goes to get that bread. I'm gonna say, he doesn't decline.
I don't.
Come on, Ike. I'm sorry, man.
I know, man. Listen, man. He ain't asked me, but I go pro, man. I go ahead. I take the Senior Bowl invite, and I would go ahead and go try my hand at the NFL. I don't want it because I want to be like, the selfish part of me is like, come on, man, come on back, bro. But nah, man, go get your money, man. Go get your money. Go get your money.
Go get it, man.
Frodo IMG says, facts or not, we land a better portal class than last year's. This better be facts.
As far as grade, maybe not. As far as actual value and productivity on the field, man, hell yeah, we better.
That's what I mean when I say better. I mean productivity on the field. I mean, we will probably spend a significant amount of time doing a retrospective on this portal class during the upcoming lives. So be on the lookout for that. But I'm gonna go with facts. It's gonna be better, quality wise, better this year than it was last year.
Hoping so. Facts.
Last one here. Teresa Vigil says, facts or not, next year's floor is 8 wins.
Ooh, Teresa. Listen, we just kind of outlined the quarterback situation. Okay. If we have Peyton Thorne coming back as a starter next year, I think our ceiling is 8 wins. Peyton Thorne is a starter. Our ceiling is 8. Our floor is 6. All seasons are not created equal. Okay. Our floor this year should have been 7. We didn't beat any of the toss-up games that many of us had on our schedule. Texas A&M, maybe. Nope. Georgia, nope. Bama, nope. LSU, nope. That wasn't a toss-up. Most of us thought we would lose that. But still, what we did have was a bunch of easy ones. We got Vandy. We got a bad Cal team. We got a Arkansas was bad. Mississippi State was bad. This was the year. This was the easiest Auburn season in a very long time. Managed only 6. It's going to get harder next year. Now, Cal still a gimme, but that SEC schedule, neither one of the Mississippis are on our schedule. Vandy still is, but that's only one of them. Is Arkansas on our schedule next year?
Yes.
Okay. So we still maybe have 2 teams going through a rough stretch on our schedule, but Oklahoma's going to be a better team.
Cal, Arkansas, Vandy, P5 wins that we should be able to get.
I'm guaranteed 3 Power 5 wins. We can't even guarantee it. We don't know how bad they're going to be. Everything else, Georgia and Bama away. I'm not feeling confident in more than 8. 8 wins is the ceiling, in my opinion. The floor being 8, I say nod to that.
Yeah, I think our floor is 7 wins next season. This is the floor I want, but I 7 wins is really where, listen, we should have 7 wins this year. I think we get to 7 wins next year as a floor. I need to see where this team lands after the spring to adjust that as far as transfer portal players, see how those freshmen are looking during the spring, and then maybe I adjust from 7 and then look at where the other teams land, all that kind of stuff. But 7 is the floor. I don't think 8 is the floor right now. All right, man, that's it. We are going to get out of here. We appreciate you guys dropping in with us again this morning. As always, the morning drop is brought to you by Rogue Shop. Head over to rogueshop.com and use code RAPPORT when you do that. That will get you a little something off your purchase. Sleep, stress, anxiety, pain. The Rogue Shop got something for whatever ails you. Again, America's #1 online dispensary is rogueshop.com. Head over there, use code RAPPORT when you do it. We'll be back at you guys very soon with more content. There's so much to talk about during B Will's second favorite time of the year. So make sure that you guys put your notification bells on. Man, you never know when something's going to happen that's going to be worthy of going live during this time of year. Like the video before you get out of here. Subscribe to the channel and make sure you share it with somebody. Until the next time, and as always, War Eagle.
Peace.
Drop!